another episode of Will and Friends Real Estate Edition. My name is Melissa and I'm going to be your host today because our favorite Will and Friends live host will be the interviewee. Will, would you like to introduce yourself briefly to our audience, give a little bit of your background in real estate and why you want to do these market updates in Southern California?
Yeah, thanks so much for the introduction, Melissa. For those who don't know, Melissa is my operating manager, and I'm so happy that she's able to join us and facilitate these type of conversations. For those of you who don't know, my name is Will Lau. I've been in the real estate industry for almost 10 years now. Worked for Keller and Ron Arnold team, top producer there. And yeah, just wanted to provide a market update of what's going on in the Orange County housing market, especially with the coronavirus and sheltering in place. A lot of people have questions over, are things still going? Is business still happening? Is real estate actually even considered essential? Or is there a buyer's market, seller's market? And we're gonna dive into that as we look into the statistics, and hopefully we can do this in a regular or normal cadence so you can get up-to-date information of what's going on in Orange County.
Great, thank you, Will. Yes, this is very exciting. It's our second filming of the market update for Orange County. We did have one for March using we filmed it in April, but using the data from March. But now the numbers for April and so Will has some new things to share with you. The last time we talked though, Will, there was a very strong seller's market still happening. But now we see kind of a demand dropping for home buyers, and we still see an increased supply of homes coming on the market.
Really,
so should we expect?
Sorry to cut you off, Melissa.
No, you can keep going.
No, I was going to say it's really interesting because in March, with Orange County and California being locked down the week of the 16th, we thought that was going to slow down business drastically. But what we were seeing from March in comparison to February was that it was still a hot seller's market in Orange County. Sales or homes available for sales increased by close to 10%. Closed transactions actually closed in the month of March, increased in comparison to February by close to 20%. It was 19.2%. And also demand, how many buyers are on the market, and that's actually measured by how many buyers are going into escrow. That also increased by 14.4%. So it was quite surprising. A lot of that I'm sure was carryover, whether that be from February or January or other months, but business was still happening. And we were also seeing that the days on market decreased from 41 days to 29 days. So things were still churning in ways where it was beneficial to the sellers. And I think the biggest question was, is that going to continue into April, right? It's crazy how for some areas it's been about 2 months. It's been 8 weeks, if not longer or shorter, plus or minus 1 or 2 weeks. And I was just curious to see if that was going to continue. I'm going to show us a few things, or a graph of what we see for the month of April, since the number is finalized. And so what we see in this graph is that in February of 2020, we see that this red bar is pending, how many buyers are actually on the market. So 1,073 units or buyers were actually in the market. But you see that number decrease from 1,000 units to 839. And for the month of April, that dropped to 624, which is a decrease of close to 26% less buyers that were on the market. And yet at the same time, the reverse is very similar, because this light green graph bar shows us the for sales, how many homes are actually on the market. And we're seeing that increase. We're increasing that from February at 1,374 to 1,471, and into April at 1,747 units, which is 18%, it's 18.8% increase in number of homes available for sale. On top of that, we want to see in regards to the days on market. So we're seeing the days on market drop from 43 to 31, and in the month of April is 25 days. And so we're seeing both more homes on the market, less buyers, and yet at the same time, the days on market is still going down. It went down another several days from March to April. So that's very interesting that we're seeing those type of trends.
Given that data combined together, do you anticipate that it's going to transition into more of a buyer's market sometime soon?
That's a great question. And one of the determining factors of if it's a seller's market or a buyer's market is the number of homes available or inventory. So if it's 3 months or less amount of homes available in inventory, it's still a seller's market. From 3 to 6 months, it doesn't go straight into buyer's market. It goes into a neutral market. And then after 6 months, it's a buyer's market. So even though demand or the number of homes available have increased, it's still within the range of a seller's market. So we're seeing that there's more homes, less buyers. It should equate to there being closer to a buyer's market and the reduction in price. But we're going to have to wait and see, because especially for our team, starting the month of May, top producer Ron and the whole team together had 17 properties in escrow. And so it's not like business is not being had. I know for myself, we had multiple offers on a property. It was done in 7 days, and we had to go above list price at least $10,000. And so it's still pretty competitive, but it should be interesting to see in the month of May if that continues.
Okay, so waiting on the edge of our seats, but debunking all myths. Not a buyer's market yet.
Not buyer's market yet, not yet.
Speaking of myths, so with a lot of people losing their jobs or being furloughed, there is a concern that we're approaching a national recession. If that happens, and as you know, it is kind of like changing a little bit, do you think that there's going to be more distressed properties on the market, foreclosures, short sales, those kind of things?
That's a great question, and I get that question a good amount. And distressed properties are foreclosures or short sales. And within Orange County as a whole, there's about 4,600 homes available for sale, and only 45 of those homes are either foreclosed or short sale. And so that's only 1% of homes that are available on the market is short sale. That doesn't mean that it's going to continue that way. Yes, we're seeing the unemployment numbers continue to rise. And if we are in a recession, you can't define a recession unless it's 2 negative quarters of GDP. And so we'll find out a lot of that information at the end of Q2. But at the same time, as of right now, at this point, we don't see much distressed properties available on the market. And if there are distressed properties, because it's still a seller's market, the banks aren't going to lower their price by 25, 50,000 or whatever that percentage is. They're going to sell it at a fair market value. They might get a hit on a couple of thousand here and there, but there's interested buyers, investors that are looking for properties that they can leverage and win on. And so I don't think it's going to be a drastic hit as we did see in like 08, 09 type of thing, or around that time frame.
Do you have people asking you, anticipating that they're going to be able to get a steal right now?
Yeah, totally. There are a lot of people asking about that. And what I tell those buyers is that they need to prepare themselves, because markets might be changing in the coming months or weeks. And you won't notice that unless you're on top of it, in the sense of understanding what's going on in the news of the real estate market, or even understanding the economists that we follow and understanding the mortgage rates. What do we project in light of unemployment, stocks, interest rates, and things like that. But for the buyers who are just thinking like, oh, I'll jump into it once we start seeing more properties decrease their price, I think they're going to be late to the game. The buyers who are already prepared, they have had our consultation or advice from a one-on-one time like this. We've already been able to prepare them by looking at properties, even potentially going and viewing the properties to understand, okay, this is within the price range, or this is the area that I'm interested in. So that way, when a potential correction in the market, or if it does turn into a buyer's market faster than the other, then they can jump on it. faster than somebody who was just sitting on the sidelines and now they're interested in wanting to participate.
Because now they know what they want, right?
Exactly.
They've walked in a condo of a specific size and be like, oh, I cannot live in this with my significant other and our 3 children or whatever.
Right. And you see that GIF out there, that meme out there. It's like, after the coronavirus or after the shelter in place is lifted, it's like, what do you want in your home? What do you want in your next home? More space or
a bigger home.
Yeah, exactly. A bigger
Everybody
home or
their own bedroom.
Exactly.
And hobby space.
Indeed.
Okay, so that's a pretty good advice for how buyers should win in this current situation. Is there anything else that you would say to buyers specifically?
Just be prepared. I think being able to have all your finances, your credit score ran, understanding the interest rates since it's fluctuating on a daily basis, it's going to be very helpful to be able to have all that information lined up so that once you are ready, once you have your ducks in a row and you see that property come up and the seller is in a situation that they need to sell, they can't wait any longer, and then you're able to negotiate a deal that's beneficial to you in regards to price and then beneficial for them in being able to sell it, then you'll be able to capitalize on that.
For anyone who maybe hasn't followed interest rates super closely in the past, is there any reputable, easy to understand, or accessible source of that information that you would recommend?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I actually just did one with Mina. She's from JMac Home Loans, and I'm going to post it before the end of this week or early next week, talking about what's going on with the mortgage forbearance, how that's impacted the jumbo loans, the different qualifications for FHA, and basically the current climate of the mortgage industry right now. Because we were expecting interest rates to be very low 3s, high 2s, but for some, depending on the type of buyer and their profile or their portfolio, that may not be the case.
Okay, so kind of a wide spread, and definitely worth listening to that if people are interested in hearing more.
Definitely.
Well, what about sellers? So we have buyers in the market and sellers in the market. How would a potential seller win given this current environment?
Yeah, I think a lot of sellers are just concerned, right? They have, and rightfully so, because they don't want to contract coronavirus or having people walking in through their home, not knowing if they have it or if they are asymptomatic and will be able to pass it on. And they're just afraid from a health perspective, but also from a financial perspective. Are actually homes selling? Are they selling at market value, below, above, and not understanding those type of statistics? And right now what we're seeing, again, month of March, it was strong. April, it was a little less in regards to the demand and the number of homes closed in transactions. But at the same time, homes are still closing. So there are ways, like we as a team are doing virtual tours or being able to schedule appointments where prospective buyers are able to come and look at the property in a safe and healthy manner. And so we're doing those type of things to be able to get our property sold, and even the 360 3D tours that we're able to leverage. I know for myself, I had a buyer who didn't look at the property, but looked at the 360 3D tour. He loved it. He said that basically by him using that resource, it was like him being in the home, and he just needed to do once he got into escrow, just needed to do an inspection of the property, and we were able to close $25,000 above list price. And so leveraging technology in light of our current circumstances and being able to get your home sold so that you can get the equity that you want and move on, whether it be to a bigger property or whatever your next steps or next desires are.
Were you incredibly surprised by that someone could purchase a property without, stepping into it until inspection time?
I am, and yet at the same time, I'm thinking this is the wave of the future, especially with the 5G technology and virtual reality that's already out there. It's only going to get better and stronger, where it seems like you're walking through the house and you're able to understand every nook and cranny, and the images, it's great. It's seeing as if you're there, really. And so, but at the same time, it doesn't replace being able to just to be there in person. But it's a good alternative in light of what we're going through right now.
Yeah, definitely. Especially because we want to make sure that everyone is like safe and healthy and feels safe first.
For sure. That's definitely more important than a transaction or money. If your health isn't in good standing, then none of that really matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't have any more questions for you. Is there anything else that you would like to say to your viewers before we sign off today?
I think in summary, April's numbers are showing from Orange County housing market perspective, more homes are coming onto the market, and there are less buyers that have closed escrow or got into escrow for the month of April. It dropped again by 25.6%. And yet at the same time, the days on market is continuing to drop. It dropped from 29 days or from 35 days to 29 days. And so we're seeing days on markets go down and down. So there's competition there. Also, another percentage that was out there was the sale to list price. So you can initially list your property for sale at a certain price point, but what does it actually close at? And we saw that within Orange County, that percentage was only a 1% difference. So it's very small reduction in price, if any reduction in Orange County. And so it's not a buyer's market yet, and I'm not saying that it's going to be, and yet at the same time, we're seeing trends that it may get there. If inventory continues to rise and buyers are staying home and not purchasing at this point.
Well, everyone, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time on Will and Friends Real Estate Market Update Edition.
All right, guys. Take care. See you later. Stay safe.
Hello there, and welcome to this quick virtual tour of this beautiful Yorba Linda estate that is close enough to everything, yet tucked away in a beautiful neighborhood for wonderful privacy at the end of a cul-de-sac. It's just what everyone wants. You'll enjoy some great drone photography here that really gives you a feel for this expansive and gorgeous property. Wow! Talk about a nice cement pond. It's resort living at its absolute finest. Now you'll have multiple access points to that huge patio with some spectacular views to the west. A gorgeous spa there, and seems unfair to call that just a separate pool home. It's just gorgeous, and we'll get into that more a little bit later. Notice the nice fire pit and seating area there. Then of course your private custom-built basketball court. Maybe invite LeBron over for some 1v1. But notice the drone now flying and looking to the west. Here's where your personal valet can park all your guests' cars for the black tie affairs or family get-togethers. You'll have some wonderful memories here. In addition to the driveway, you'll have multiple covered garage spots as well. Just inside the front door, you're greeted with this: elegance, natural light, and sophistication. Here is your completely remodeled kitchen with top-of-the-line appliances. That prodigious island there, granite, travertine flooring. This home has it all. Here's a nice cozy family room with a nice fireplace there. And of course your professional home theater. Nice. There are over $1.3 million in upgrades in this fantastic home, inside and out. Take a look at one of the multiple utility rooms. This one, of course, is laundry. Just perfect. Here's another. Now this one could be the butler's pantry. The options are aplenty in this absolutely magnificent home. Now here's the master bedroom. Notice the architecture, the comfy, cozy feel to this with a nice fireplace there. Now there's the patio that we spoke about earlier. And of course you get to enjoy this resort-style master bathroom. Oh, that just brings a smile to your face. Now here's an interesting see-through dollhouse view. You can pause the video if you'd like to take a closer look. Now here's another look at that 5-star backyard through the lens of high-definition photography. Let's take a look inside of your pool home. Just look at that. big screen TVs, a temperature-controlled wine cellar or a humidor if you'd like, a Kamado station. Of course, it's wired for sound. Imagine the parties you could have here. Viking warmer drawers, its own restroom. It just goes on and on. Here's one more look at this stunning property. It rests on a flat acre in the heart of Yorba Linda. Give us a call for a personal tour, and we look forward to meeting you. Thanks for watching.